What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of The Super Show. Today we're going to be talking about James Gunn's secret DCU project that's been revealed. We've got more info also on when we could be seeing the highly anticipated Lantern series. There's also some updates on Batman, Brave and the Bold, and on the MCU side, we're talking X-Men and Beyond the Spider-Verse. It's all that and more on today's episode of The Super Show.
This is The Super Show!
Today's episode is packed. I'm talking packed like a big woman that's in jeans that are way too tight. I'm looking at you, Lizzo. Actually, I guess that joke doesn't really work anymore because she lost a ton of weight. Oh well, you get the point. We've got a lot of ground to cover and not that much time to do it. So to respect your time, I've got timestamps below for you guys. You can jump around to whatever stories interest you most, or you can sit back, relax, and let the Super Show do its thing, baby. We gonna do our thing. You know, we doing it. Also, this is only the second episode of this series. I plan on doing so many more, obviously, but you know, I'm new to this, so I'm curious, what do you guys think of the format so far? Are you enjoying the content? Let me know your thoughts below. That's enough jibba jab. Let's get into the news. We're gonna start out with two very tiny stories, just, you know, whet your appetite a little bit. I like to call this section News Bites, I guess. I don't know, I'm still spitballing names, but I thought I'd let you know that the Fantastic Four First Steps has a release date for digital. It's going to begin streaming on Disney Plus this November 5th. You know, the movie didn't make a lot of money, but I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think it's the best Fantastic Four movie we've gotten, so hopefully it'll make up some of that with the streaming. Probably not, but you know, we could hope. Also, we've got a brand new behind the scenes clip of Sadie Sink on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I don't know how much of a leak this is, but it looks like her character's injured and then she gets locked away, so your guess is as good as mine as what the hell is actually going on. All right, folks, now it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode. We're going to be talking about some major headlines, starting off with the DCU. DC Studios recently filed for a new trademark, and it appears to be showing us a little bit of insight on the future of where the DCU is heading. On the trademark database, Salvation Run has appeared in a new listing from the studio, being filed under the category of film, among others, namely comic books and printed materials, luggage and athletic bags, clocks and watches, clothing, toys, and entertainment services. If you've seen Peacemaker Season 2, then this all makes a lot of sense. We saw at the end that Peacemaker was put on Salvation, the prison for metahumans. We know there's a very famous, or I guess you could say semi-famous, comic book run known as Salvation Run that this is all going to be loosely based off on, according to James Gunn. And from the look of his trademarks, it looks like the DCU is all in on Salvation. But I don't think this movie is simply going to be called Salvation or Salvation Run. More than likely, I'm assuming that is only part of the title, perhaps Superman Salvation. There's even some speculation among fans online right now that this is going to be Justice League Salvation. Obviously, none of us are too sure exactly what this film is going to be. I'm hoping it's not Justice League, just because I don't want Salvation Run to be the first time we see the Justice League coming together. I'd much rather see how they did it in the DCAU with the threat of the White Martians and introducing Martian Manhunter, but that's just me. I'm a huge DCAU simp. I'm curious to know what you guys think. What will this Salvation Run movie be? Let me know in the comments. Moving on, we also got some more details on when we could be seeing and hearing more about Batman, Brave and the Bold. Also, who might be directing that film? Check out this clip.
When does the Batman movie happen? When is that gonna happen?
I definitely cannot stress
Are we
enough.
still doing it?
Again, we cannot talk about it. We cannot.
But we want to see it. I want to see it.
Let's talk about it.
Listen, the intention is yes, but we can't talk about it.
Yeah, we'll have to wait a couple of months to start talking about it.
So from what we can gather, Andy Muschietti is still on track to be directing Batman Brave and the Bold. Lots of people don't want him to direct this movie simply because he directed The Flash, and we all know that movie was not well received. Everyone wouldn't mind him directing. I think a lot of the problems with the Flash movie didn't come from the direction, but more so from the writing of the script, and from what I understand, Andy Muschietti did not write that film. But I think that script really held back that movie, along with a few other things like Ezra Miller. So I guess we still have to wait a few months. I don't know how long I can actually wait. I am gassy with anticipation. We've also got some news about Green Lantern. The TV show has narrowed down its release window. So we recently found out that James Gunn has seen the sneak peek for Lanterns, but he doesn't know yet when we'll be seeing a full trailer, and they still haven't told us when we'll actually be getting the show. All we have heard is it will be in early 2026. That's changed a little bit from this new info that we've gotten. We now know that A Night of the Seven Kingdoms will be kicking off its first season on January 8th, 2026, before coming to its end 6 weeks later on February 22nd, 2026. So that pretty much tells us Lanterns won't be coming out in those early months like January and February, and we're looking more so after that. Also, the show Euphoria, starring Zendaya, has gone and let fans know that it will be releasing on HBO Max in spring. So it's looking like we can probably expect Lanterns to fall somewhere in between that February date after that and before the spring when Euphoria drops. Some people are speculating they're actually going to end up pushing this show back because both of these big shows are coming out early, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms along with Euphoria, but I for one don't see that happening. I think we're getting it in March or April, but we'll just have to wait and see for a definite concrete date. Moving on, we've got James Gunn talking about Supergirl and letting us know more about what that movie is going to be like. He also gave us more insight into the DCU overall. James Gunn told the Rolling Stone that Supergirl especially is a space adventure. It's like Guardians or Lanterns. It's its own thing. There's just a longer sort of bigger world we're building with all these different pieces, and they do all come together and intersect sometimes in a story fashion, and sometimes just in a, here's another piece of the world fashion. So James Gunn is saying that Supergirl is indeed going to be very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy and it being like this space-faring adventure. If you read the comics the new Supergirl movie is based off of, this isn't much news to you more than likely, but what Gunn also went on to say about the DCU and how it connects, I thought that was more of the story here. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, or maybe this is a bit of a reach, but by him using the words that like sometimes these things connect, it feels like these shows, these movies that the DCU will be focusing on will be much more focused on the characters that they're presenting in their own material and not too focused on connecting to other projects or building for the future, which I think is a good idea because as much as I love the MCU, sometimes it's felt like certain movies and projects that they've done always felt like a stepping block or just a stepping stone into the next project. Sometimes I really miss the days when we used to only get, these standalone superhero movies like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Don't get me wrong, I never want to go back to when nothing was ever connected, but I'm hoping the DCU has learned a little bit from the MCU in this regard, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see how things pan out. Speaking of the MCU, let's switch gears to Marvel. First off, talking about Sony's new Spider-Verse movie, that being Into the Spider-Verse 3, or what's now known as Beyond the Spider-Verse. This really is just a small story, but I think it's really good news for this movie. Traditionally, the movies have come out in IMAX before, but they weren't using the conventional IMAX ratio, but that's all going to be changing with the release of Beyond the Spider-Verse. The executive producer of the film, Christopher Miller, he chimed in on X, letting folks know that in Beyond the Spider-Verse, they will be using that more conventional IMAX ratio, and it will fill the entire screen this time. This is a good thing. It really does enhance your viewing experience watching an IMAX movie in the proper aspect ratio that's supposed to be in. The film's gonna just look bigger and better on the screen. Like I said, kind of a small story, but good to know. Moving on to Marvel Studios, let's talk about everyone's favorite team of mutants, the X-Men. We've got big news about the Mutant Saga, the next phase for Marvel Studios. We know it'll be all about the mutants, and we already know that 3 X-Men movies and TV series are in active development. We're gonna go over exactly what those projects are right now. First off, we know that a reboot movie is coming in around 2028, maybe even a little bit later. And Jake Schreier, the director of The Thunderbolts, along with the Hunger Games writer, are attached and hard at work on this film already. And even though that is in early development, so far what we've heard is that Disney and Marvel are going with a much younger take on the X-Men squad, and it looks like that these characters are going to be more in their teenage years this time around. And I think that could be really cool and something interesting in a new way of doing it. X-Men Evolution was a TV series that did this really well. It was one of the X-Men shows that I grew up on as a kid. Of course, Deadpool and Wolverine came out a little while ago and did so well. And Marvel and Disney, they don't seem content to let that just be the end of Deadpool, as we are hearing that Deadpool is actually in active development for a 4th film where he's going to be teaming up with other mutants, other X-Men characters. But we don't know right now whether these mutants are going to be coming from the Fox universe or they're going to be coming from the rebooted universe under Disney and Marvel. We'll just have to wait and see, but I'm curious which one you would prefer. And there's X-Men 97, which, oh my god, such a fantastic show. Also grew up watching this show, and I'm so glad Marvel decided to reboot it. It will be returning for its 2nd season this coming summer in 2026, but the Marvel animation head Brad Winderbaum also reached out to Collider and let them know that season 3 is already in the works, along with them talking about seasons 4 and 5 already. So we're seeing that Marvel and Disney, they're going headfirst into the X-Men, into the mutants. My only worry, don't get me wrong, I'm really excited, but I'm a bit worried that they might get a little too oversaturated. Like, do we need another Deadpool movie? You know, I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine, but I don't think I loved it as much as some folks seem to. I thought that script needed a lot of work in places, but when you make $1 billion at the box office, that's really all that matters. All right, folks, that concludes today's episode of The Super Show. Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments below if there's some news that you've heard of that I didn't cover here. And if you enjoyed this video, there's gonna be plenty more like these. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It really helps out the channel a lot. My name's ABJ. I'll be seeing you in the next video, but you know who we won't be seeing soon? It's none other than the DCU's Dark Side, and this video on your screen is going to tell you why. So yeah, maybe you should click on it. I can't see why you shouldn't.
He's a black Jedi.